We're super glad you finally made it, Allie. Um, hello, Ruth, Mike G, Fred, Bill B, Brian Sweeney, as always. I'm trying to see. So we're starting a little bit early. Okay. Hopefully you can see me. I learned today that our space internet will actually have trouble with dense thunderstorms. So that was a new learning today. We had a monsoon storm roll through town, and it was enough to disturb a lot of our internet. So, hey, Colette, hopefully you can hear me. I should probably ask that as my first question instead of just jumping in and being chatty. It's kind of my personality thing, though. Be chatty. Okay, sound is good. All right, that is good. Awesome. Excellent. It's funny because I'm used to being more hello and chatty on Wednesdays, and I brought a little bit too much of that, like hello to every single person energy on Sunday. So, all right, just making sure. Let me set this up. All right. So I think I said we were going to do the deck today. So for those that, excellent. Bonjour, Paul. So it is a great picture. All right, that's good. I was having all sorts of video trouble today with things for work. So, oh, good. All right. So that was a little bit of where I was headed with it, Ruth. But there is such thing as too much of a good thing. So, hello, Gabrielle. Welcome. So, yeah. So as folks know, that I was out on the East Coast last week. In the Hudson Valley area where Omega Institute is at Jeff's retreat. So I thought there was a chance we might get a few of the folks from Being Human Takes Practice. I do think that I'm supposed to send out a resources list, which I actually might include. Just take that resources, the updated, all the places where you find Jeff and things like that. I might include that in my next email. So the email went out today. Last week I realized that I can because of last week's goof up when we were at the 15-minute pass when we were expected. So welcome, Mao. You're right on time. And Paul, you're on time as well. Just started a little bit early. But last week I didn't have the live stream up until like 15 minutes past like our normal time, like a minute late from our normal time. And so thanks to Ruth for emailing me. And I had cut everything so close that I'd forgotten to create the live stream link. I realize now I can create live stream links in advance, which is what we basically do for Jeff's channel. And then we time them so that they become public at a certain point in time. And I was like, why am I not doing this for my channel? So I'm going to do that for my channel so that's a little lesson learned in all of the chaos. I'm sort of settling back in. So the Sinclair dinosaur is back, and I've got my books back, but they're not ordered yet. So still sort of there. And then I realize now that I've got hockey sticks congregating. So I feel like I'm like the Gen X weatherman, like pointing out the storm front moving towards the hockey sticks. All right. Yes, I mean the green bag. Yes, very much, Paul. The green bag. All right. So for those that don't know, I'm Andrew. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation coach. I sometimes guest host on the Do Nothing Project and an oftentimes chat moderator for the Do Nothing Project. Oh, hello, Bill J. And then I was hoping we'd see Emma, but we don't have Emma today. So if you bump into Emma or you see Emma, please make sure to say hello. So what we're going to do is a 25-minute sit. We're going to pull a technique from our deck of cards, and I'll guide that technique. And then, yeah, so the video quality is definitely improved. Excellent. And then if you have questions or comments or reports, we can have those at the end. So I think that's it. Yeah, if I've forgotten. Always like we always like a like if you haven't subscribed. Hello, Annalisa. Uh, and then I think everyone. I'm just going to put this in just on the off chance that we got a few people that are on but not in chat proper. So if you want to get a notification, reminder emails, send me an email at that email address, and I'll add you to the list. I think that's my one other plug thing. Oh, and I was in the middle of saying, don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed the sit. Already 10 people. Thank you for that. And if you haven't, subscribe and you'll get notified when I forget to post the live stream and I create it at the last minute. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. All right. With our luck with the deck, it's just every time we do this, it ends up being a C. So the Unified Mindfulness System is a subset of Shinzen system. I should say this, but recently they've updated a bunch of the terminologies. Yeah, so C. Thank you, Paul. That's what I expected to be, is C flow. Oh, geez. All right, who votes for another? Let's do one more, because it was exactly. Oh, we started foundations. Excellent. So foundations, the focus of foundations, as you probably already know, is the see, hear, feel technique, or SHF. You'll see it shortened to. All right, so I'm just going to make a universal decision of I'm rejecting see good. So see good is so if we can, yeah. So see good is the. All right. Hear rest. All right, I'll take your rest. I really should take the deck and pull the C C ones out. So what to expect? 25-minute sit. At the end, I'm going to structure it so that you've got an opportunity for do nothing, where we let go of the technique, whatever technique we've got, which today is hear rest. So we'll be using the aspect of experience that we'll be focused on is hear. So that's mental talk or our auditory sense. And then the notion here for rest is when we've got a drop off. So when there's been activation in that aspect or that category, and then it goes away. So that's what we're going to work with for rest. So flow would be so sometimes they get the rest versus, yes, the C's are the jokers. I do have jokers in the deck that are meant to be a participant's choice in the chat, but I know what you'll pick is C, one of the C techniques. So for really, really briefly, flow is having your attention on the changing aspect in a particular category, or the changing aspect or a changingness of an aspect. And then rest is this idea that we've had some activation and then it drops and then it reduces. So it's reduced. So that notion, that feeling sense of being able to have something heavy that you're holding and then putting it down. All right. Hopefully that's not too much, and hopefully that's helpful. So we'll ring the bell. I've got to put 25 minutes on the clock, which I have. Trusty timer. And thank you for being here. All right. So if we wanted to shorten everything I'm about to say in the next 2 minutes 30 seconds, it would be arrive on your seat. So I'll focus on the seated posture. So if you're seated on a chair or cushion or kneeling, the bench, it's really what I'm focused on. You could always be standing, lying down, or walking. All totally plausible postures. So really just arriving in our seat. Starting with the posture, trying to get a posture that is upright without being uptight. Uprightness without sort of forcing it allows us to have a bit more of a fluid stillness where we can be still, and then if we need to move, we move, and then we come back to a stillness. So we're not just kind of like this tense, efforting meditator. And after establishing the posture, just checking in on what's kind of already here. What's the sort of start state, the inner weather. And so you may notice some tension in maybe the jaw or around the eyes. Not chasing it away, but really just noticing it's there. Like, oh. Or you could offer a hello there. Or welcome to the party. And then to finish, a few deliberate breaths. Slow and low is our tempo that we're going for. Breathing in through the nose allows us to breathe that slow pace we're looking for. And that slow pace allows us to breathe low into the belly. And then after that inhale, turning it around and extending and accentuating the exhale. So I'm going to offer the technique of here, rest, but you're always welcome to come back to this initial sense of sitting and knowing that you're sitting. When you have drifted from the technique and you realize that you're sort of far away from here, rest, you can always kind of come back to that, checking in the posture, starting with the body, and then shifting back into here. And I'll give you a little bit of a reminder around the technique, and then I'll let you explore on your own. So our focus range is mental talk and sounds around us. And then we're specifically interested in the restful qualities within that focus range. So rest may or may not be present. That's okay. We notice what's available in here space, I guess you could say. Optionally label it HEAR, here. And then if there is a restful quality, you can use the label rest. And if you find there's a little bit of frustration around not finding rest or not quite knowing how to label it just yet, you can focus on just noticing here to begin with. So again, we're noting where our attention is, using an optional label, here or rest. And then the next thing in here space, we notice that again, same pattern. I'll let you explore on your own and check in a bit. So just a little bit on the technique here. See if this, now that you've had a little bit of time to experience or explore on your own. So for me, if I notice my breath, I realize that's outside of the focus range. I'm like, oh, I noticed following my breath. It's a home base I use often. So I've noticed that. It's a little mini celebration of, okay, I'm aware that I'm outside of where I had intended to be. I bring my attention back. I notice the fan on my computer. Soak my attention in. Label here. My attention is still focused on the fan. So I can think of it as a re-noting. Optionally label here. And then I have this continuous sound. So even though it's not necessarily dropping off, there's a bit of a soft fascination with that sound. Notice that's restful for me. Label it rest. And then continue. With optional labels, you might notice that you say, oh, I'm focused on here, and then you have mental talk. Again, that's here. We can just note that too. And you may find that the mental talk drops away. You can think of that as a rest right there. It's the last thing I'll offer because I'm giving you way too much stuff to think about. Is you can always drop the optional label if you feel like it's getting in the way. So I'll let you continue to explore on your own. Okay, so mm, that technique was something that you felt like you really got in a groove, and you're welcome to continue on. But I just want to offer now this opportunity to put the technique down and move into do nothing. Sometimes when we're implementing or putting a technique into action, it feels like we're pedaling along, pedaling along. And this is our chance to stop pedaling and coast. So do nothing. Thank you for your practice. May any merit generated while we've practiced together go to benefit all beings. And curious, so I want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable to say that's it was confusing. So thank you, Ali and Mao, for highlighting that. I want to make sure that okay, feel relaxed. So when I use the unified mindfulness techniques, I sometimes realize that there's a lot that I feel like I need to front load. And so then I'll give you a little bit more information. And I think, at least for me, I didn't feel like I described rest totally well. So I tried to bring in a little bit of more of what was potentially available for that. So seeing that there was some confusion. So hopefully that helped. But yeah, and I don't know, it sounds maybe funny to say it this way, but I feel like it's important in a meditation group to feel like you have permission to have a sit that wasn't enjoyable and to be able to report about that. So anyway, you're very welcome, Bill and Kat. Actually, so So Gabrielle did quite of my own. Just kind of did your own thing. Yeah, totally feel permission to do that. So I noticed that about midway through the sit, I was like, I know exactly what I would have done for C Good after I threw the card away and was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. So there's this kind of the human nature of the mind of, well, now that we've picked here rest, I actually like the idea of trying to guide C rest instead. So just to give you a window into the window into the guide's mind, and that was one of the things. I also realized too, I have a ceiling fan, and then I've got the fans in my computer, and so I'm not totally sure how much of that's coming through on the audio. So there's a lot of constant sounds. Yes, Marjorie. But sometimes the constant sounds are excellent for when we're focused on here. But okay, so you didn't hear the constant sounds. All right, so didn't hear any of the fans. Thank you. Okay, so it's a little bit in between. But the constant sounds we don't have as much rest available. But we do potentially have rest available for the here in or the mental. We're all fans, yes. So that's one aside to put in there. And then the other thing that I just was realizing for me as I was sitting, the minute I narrowed my focus to sounds, I had all of these pleasant sensations in the body, almost like a taunting, quality of pleasant sensations. And I thought, this is, silly. I'm focused on sound. Why is there so much feel good or pleasant feel out? So, or even maybe that's a little bit of feel in. I don't know that it was an emotional sensation because I didn't check in because I was focused on here space. So those kind of things kind of seem to come up, and they especially come up when you're on retreat. You sort of end up with a lot of experience that isn't kind of what you ordered. So I do think there's some lesson in there of you can receive whatever shows up with that if you didn't order it. But so yeah, so good to hear that we had a little bit of, I can see a little bit, or for me, it's good for me to get a little bit of what is coming through for some folks and then others. So Jeff will be back on Sunday for the Do Nothing Project. Same DNP time, same DNP channel. Yeah, you don't just get what you want. Yeah, very Mick Jagger. That's a Rolling Stone song, isn't it? Yeah, I think it is. But Jeff's set up for that. And then August is rapidly disappearing, which is, I guess, what happens to a month, is that it goes away after a certain number of days. So I'm going to see if we can find a time to do another Zoom hangout in September, because there's not enough time left in August, or I don't think there's enough time left in August. So I think that's all the little things, and then we're rapidly approaching the top of the hour, and I know a lot of you have to jump to other things. Thank you so much for being here on a Wednesday. Really appreciate it. Thanks for all the likes. And then if you for some reason you haven't subscribed and you realize, well, maybe I should subscribe, then do that. And then if you do want to get on the mailing list, go ahead and drop me an email at that email address. You're incredibly welcome, Ruth. I'm glad. It's always a delight. And Gabrielle, yeah, I very much appreciate it, everyone. Thank you so much for making it tonight, Allie. Love to see you in the future. Hey, Bill B. Did I say? Hopefully, I said hi to you earlier. Yeah, so and I know everyone, there's a lot of travel going on during August, so yeah, so safe travels, and I think that's it. Have a great rest of the week. Oh, we didn't see our Aussie contingent, so hopefully the future is treating them well, and I'll see you next Wednesday.